what I want, I get what I need. Every single day I'm heading off to my dream, and I get everything that I damn well please. I don't give a damn if you want.
Okay, so this morning breakfast is a little different because we're a little pressed for time with the extra sleep we needed for day 2. So looks like a sandwich, but it is very deep in flavor. Lots of little like sauces and spices being added to it, and we're probably going to eat this on the grab park on the way to the convention center.
I'ma make it as an artist, and I know I'm not the smartest, and I know I'm not the largest, but I promise you that I'ma be the one that worked the hardest, because I promise you that I'm just getting started, and I promise you that my skills are getting sharper, so I'ma get started.
When I'm a little bit more pressed for time, my grab driver has to take the wrong off-ramp to allow me to miss the unbagging of the stack. So we're gonna make our way, find the table through the sea of people, and gonna unbag, gonna play our best. We last night I went through the guys at my table, and there seems to be one strong pro. There's one guy who's cashed for quite a bit, but his last cash was in 2010, which means that he hasn't played for a long time, so the exploits on him are going to be thinking that he is a 2000s and 2010 style player, which is quite distinct, and the rest of them are quite unknown, so I'm going to just categorize them as amateurs, and we'll go from there. I'll keep you updated.
Crank this shit up so loud, sounds like we're sold out in front of a whole crowd. We just control now. Take this shit too personally. Everybody got a different version of me. Everybody gotta be learning from me. Everybody wanna be working with me.
Okay, so after having a very rocky start to the day, our first hand we lost a 200k pot, getting it in, dominating our opponents, but the rest of the day I absolutely cannot complain about. I stacked 6 people. I started the day with 526. I'm up to 1.45 million. It's gone very well. Last hand a little unfortunate. We had pocket 4s, 3 ways. Flop came Queen Jack 4. The initial opener, C-bet big. Immediately know he has something like King Queen or Ace Queen, Kings Aces. So he C-bets 80. I made it 175 to just try induce him to give me the rest of his stack. Small blind who called pre-flop, tanked for a while, and folded. Then the initial opener quickly jammed. I called, he showed Ace Queen, we held. And the guy who folded on the flop said he also had a queen. The turn was a queen, so if we had just flattered, he would have overcalled, probably would have gotten a triple up from that guy included as well. Bit unfortunate, but happy to have won the pot. So we are in very good shape going into the next period of levels.
Failure ain't an option, so I'd be cautious. I hope that you're watching. Don't try to stop this, work until I'm nauseous, cause I will not quit, no, because I won this. Don't try to stop me, failure ain't an option, so I'd be cautious.
Really beginning to feel the effects of the roller coaster that is the poker tournament. I was really cruising for a long time, just winning small pot, except for this morning where I just stacked everyone. And then I lost a really big pot in a sick beat that I'll tell you about later. Crippled us. Then blinds are going really fast, as I said earlier. It is a turbo, so that is to be expected, but chilling on about 1 million at 25k, 50k, which is average. And yeah, I mean, if that pot goes our way, chilling on 2.5 million, but it would have just enabled us to apply more pressure, open more pots, and now I've opened a couple of times, got jammed on, open, get jammed on, and it's fun, but it can get frustrating. So we just got to keep a level head, and just walk around a bit. Been sitting for 2.5 hours, so need to regroup. And I think there's like 45 people left, and I don't care about any pay jumps until we get to heads up. So we're playing to win, and yeah, that's it. And just like that, we are busto. It was a long 2 days. I'm very happy with how I played overall. Still, obviously, as a tournament player, there's only one place that is actually satisfying, and that's first. Everything else feels like you lost, but you know, I came 32nd out of 1,527, so it's the biggest live field that I've actually played in, so can't feel too disappointed. Didn't really have a lot of key detailed hands that I could break down for you guys, but I did record 2 that I will detail later. I'm just in a bit of a time crunch to go someplace very interesting. Most of you might find it a bit squeamish to say, but later on I'll do the hand breakdowns. I mean, this morning I ran probably one of the best I've ever run in that short space of a time. Stacked 6 people, like I said earlier. So it is what it is. On to the next. We've got a lot more events to come, so let's keep the good momentum going.
Hi guys! On today's episode of Eating in Vietnam, we have sandworm pancakes. Come a bit closer. I'm Greta, by the way. I'm from Italy and I'm kind of scared right now, but we are going to try this and feel, I don't know, different.
Okay, so this is what's on the menu for dinner tonight. So I think they make them and then they're like semi-cooked, and then they just finish them off for us in shallow fry. So it's nice and fresh ones. So here we've got our tray with our sandworm pancakes. We sit right on the street, on the floor, like that.
I'd like to say that I am excited, and I am, but also a lot scared.
Okay, here's the first taste.
What you think? Tastes funny? In a good or in a bad way?
In a very interesting way. Like, it's got a lot of herbs,
Okay.
which kind of mask the underlying sand flavor of the worm.
Oh God.
The fry is nice because there's little like crisp bits with the all around the edges. It's definitely a unique flavor, but very happy that I was convinced to come try it.
Okay. Would you eat one again?
I'm gonna eat one again right now.
I mean another portion. You can say that in English. I don't know. Another dish. An entire dish.
Probably. But we gotta try all the different weird food that the country has to offer. Okay, so next meal of the night is some crab rolls and shrimp rolls. Also just like shallow-ish fried, and then we'll take them there. Okay, so here we've got the crisp shrimp roll. So it comes with like a little chili sauce. Hang on. There we go. And I'm usually very picky when it comes to sauces, but I found all the sauces here I love. So, cheers. And here we've got the crab one. So that's what it looks like. Okay, we've decided to come to this little street for hot pot. So there we've got all our seafood, meats, that looks like mushroom.
Yeah.
Here we've got our noodles, some vegetables here.
Thank you.
There's some fruit for afterwards. Of course, we got a little beer, and here's what the hot pot looks like. So I'm very excited because I haven't had hot pot yet. So I'll let you know how it is. Okay, so the hot pot started boiling. That means it's ready. So there's like some clams, tofu, squid, fish, some big prawns, and we let that cook right in front of us in like a rich broth. So to accompany our hot pot, we decided to get some snails. So all you do is pull the snail out the shell and pop it in your mouth, just like that.
Seafood okay to eat? Seafood okay.
Seafood's okay to eat.
To eat okay.
We
Seafood?
do this.
Seafood? Yes. Này. Sim.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, chấm here. Seafood.
Okay, so the hot pot's finally ready. So let's dig in. Got some noodles. Oh, that is quite long. Oh, I think we're sharing some.
This?
Oh, no.
Some prawn.
Seafood.
Can I ask you what this is?
Đấy. Biết rồi.
What is this?
Mushroom.
Mắt. Đậu. Đậu phụ.
Tofu.
Đậu phụ.
That's tofu. Some corn.
Thế đổi cái bếp của 17 đây, cái bếp này cháy rồi chứ ai đây.
And then
Here, yes.
See how it is?
we look really stupid right now.
Oh, thank you. Gotta say that is delicious. So flavorful. Fantastic. Really, really good. I guess it is your guys' fortune that you get a preview of tomorrow's cup, because yesterday I completely forgot to record some handbrake downs. So I'm doing it tomorrow. So let's get started. The first hand, I open Jack 10 parts in Under the Gun +1 to 40k at 10k, 20k of 60 big blinds. Only the big blind depends. The flop, ace, 9 of hearts, 3. The big blind checks. And on this draw ace high board, in this field where I have been facing very little aggression, I can see bet very frequently. In an elite field, you will get punished very hard if they pick up that you are over c-betting ace high boards. Here, we abuse it. So I continue small for 25k. We do, however, face a reluctant looking call. Turn, queen. So now we pick up an open-ender, and almost any time you're bluffing and you pick up equity, as a general rule, that is a great time to continue barreling. I wanted to size up and start putting heavy pressure on 9x hands as well as 6s, 7s, 8s. So into a pot of 160k, I barreled 115k in order to set up a good river sizing. I don't think any ace folds at this point though. We again face a call. River, deuce. So we completely grip. At this point, we had a very big stack, so that gives us leeway into bluff of chips should we get caught. I also do believe that my opponent was just being very sticky with a pair of nines, something like 7-9, 8-9. I thought between shoving and going just big enough to make him very uncomfortable to commit such a large portion of his stack. So the pot was 390k. He had about 300 back. I decided to bet 200k, which would leave him with crumbs. And I think that this actually looks stronger than jamming. Jamming, you may appear to try and bully your way into buying the pot. After 2 time banks, my opponent folded. The next hand, middle position opens to 40k at 10k, 20k. The cutoff calls, and I look down at ace-4 of hearts in the big blind. I was chip leading my table by miles at this stage, so I could definitely consider 3-bet squeezing. However, the initial opener only had 16 big blinds to start. So if I 3-bet and he jams, I'm now kind of pressed into call off a lot of chips in the spot, and I'm likely very behind. So for that reason, I decided to flop. The flop came Jack 10-5 with 1 heart. I check, and the initial opener continues for 30k, only 20% pot, which seemed really weak to me, something like ace-king, ace-queen, even 7-8 suited. The cutoff calls, and it is a bit sticky, but with this incredible price, I decide to overcall with pure backdoors. Turn 5. So now if you think of the ranges of all 3 of us, I'm really the only one who should have a 5, other than the very few combos of 5x the cutoff would have, something like ace-5 suited, which we block, or 5-6 suited. So because I now have the superior range advantage, except for the unlikely event I'm up against the boat, I decide to lead for 45k, which is roughly 1/3 pot. There's no real need to go large, as if the initial opener has what I suspect he does, he will fold for anything, and we can then reevaluate the cutoff should he fold. The initial raiser quickly folds, but the cutoff peels. So at this point, I put him on a Jack X hand, like King Jack, Queen Jack, even Jack 10 suited, which decided to slow play the flop. River, ace. Now our hand has gone from total bluff to value. I think a lot of amateurs miss out on getting value here and just think, yay, I got lucky, now I may win at showdown. No. The pot stands at 240k, and I have to pick a sizing that can generate a crying call from a jack. I think any large sizing will force a fold, so I make it 80k, 1/3 pot again, and after a time bank, the cutoff chucks in the call. To his clear frustration, we scoop in a sizable pot. So the final hand is more of a complaint about a gross bad beat for a ton of chips and a lot of EV than it is a breakdown. So under the gun opens to 50k at 10k, 25k. The hijack calls, the button calls, the small blind calls, and I look down at Queen 10 off in the big blind. It's very easy to defend, getting such a great price. The flop came 5, 5, 10 with 2 spades. The small blind now donk jams 385k to the disbelief of everyone at the table. Now, whatever he has, this is a terrible move in my eyes. If he has a 5, he is risking losing value. If he has a 10, he is jamming into the uncapped range of under the gun, which contains all overpairs. Maybe a flush draw is okay. I'm not sure. So as soon as he jams, I notice the shoulders of the under the gun player like drop, which I interpreted as a sigh of relief that he wasn't going to have to bluff into so many players. I'm a very live read heavy player and I trust my reads. I also didn't think that any of the other callers had overpairs in their range, so I slid in the call, planning to fold if I were to face a jam behind. Everyone swiftly folded, and when the hands were flipped over, I was delighted to see 10-8 offsuit from the small blind. Horrific move. So the pot was around 1.2 million. The turn, an 8. The river, brick. So this would have pushed me over 2.5 million, a humongous stack at this point. But instead, we are crippled back down to the average. I was really unable to gain any traction. And after a few times opening, getting jammed on, having to fold, I was left really short. My final hand, I open ripped 9 big blinds on the button with queen 9 of diamonds, and I couldn't trump ace 10 off of the big blind. So I busted 32nd out of 1,527 players. Okay, so we are currently back in the hostel after a delicious dinner of hot pot. I am really full, but I'm also really exhausted. So looking forward to getting into bed. It's currently 1:30 and the first event is at 11:30 tomorrow. So I just wanted to give you a quick rundown of the plan for tomorrow before I head off to bed. Tomorrow we actually have 3 options for events throughout the day. So first option and number 1 choice is the 9-game mix. And anyone who plays poker with me knows that I am mildly obsessed with mix games, even though I've never actually played one. I've watched pretty much every single mix game that's been televised over the last few years. So I'm really looking forward to playing my first one. The second option will be 5-card PLO, which I'm much more versed at and I understand the game, unlike a lot of the mixed game events. And finally, as our final backup, we have the short deck event. So hopefully tomorrow we can have a little bit more elaborate of a breakfast. And I'll see you guys then.